old were you when you were in combat, sir?
21 when I hit the combat line.
Were you afraid to die?
No, if it was going to be, it was going to be. I knew the risk was there. You just want to do your part.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. At the tone, please record your message.
I hope you're doing well, sir. My name is Rishi Sharma. I'm on a mission to meet and interview all the World War II veterans of the Allied countries. I started these interviews when I was in high school. I'm 25 years old now, and I've been interviewing veterans across all the states, Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. It's just so important that future generations understand what you guys went through for our way of life, the comforts and luxuries that we have. Okay, thank you. God bless.
I've been interviewing World War II veterans literally every day for 7 years. I've interviewed just over 2,200 veterans. When I was in high school, I started reading a book called Citizen Soldiers. It was a compilation of veteran stories. I was just amazed and so moved by some of these accounts that I started to look up some of the veterans who I was reading about. And I found that some of them were still alive. And I would look up their phone number and call them. And it just struck me that, you know, here I am. I have the book in one hand open to their chapter. And I'm talking to the real deal on the phone, this real life superhero. And so that was really the light bulb moment. I said, you know, if I can do it for one veteran, why not more? There's so many untold stories out there. And if I don't capture them, who will?
One of the veterans gave me this bag. Home of the free, because of the brave. I wrote this on the back of my camera bag. You know, it was just black before, and it just seemed like an empty canvas. And so I just wanted to tell people that I'm just not a random guy with a lot of camera gear. I'm on a mission. It's definitely a conversation starter. In my next life, I'm going to try putting I need a girlfriend and see where that leads me. I'm heading towards Midland, Michigan to interview Ray Terwillegar. He's a World War II rifleman. He served in the 44th Infantry Division. I saw a news story in the local paper for his 100th birthday, and it mentioned, you know, the unit he served in, that he really had not opened up much about his war experiences. And so I really felt like this is one of those situations where I could be getting an untold story. It's just an exciting feeling, like you're about to discover some treasure that no one else even knows exists. I think we're here. Oftentimes, if I can't remember the veteran's address, but I know I'm on the right street, I just look for the house with the flag. You'd be surprised how often I get the right house. Yep, American flag. Hey, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm here.
Now you must be Mr. Terwillegar's
Yes,
son?
Yes. Pardon?
Are you his son?
No, I'm one.
You're Mr. Terwillegar?
Yes, I'm 100.
Oh my God, sir. You look fantastic.
Come on in.
I really, really appreciate this opportunity. Are you having a nice day so far?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, and you just had your 100th in July. And so this is the house you grew up in.
Well, I was 10 years old when my folks moved here.
Mr. Terwillegar, could you please tell me about this?
That was taken when my 100th birthday.
It's a life size.
Yes. There was 253 at the birthday party.
Really?
Yes. And they had this sitting there, you know, and quite the day.
And do you have any idea how old you would have been, sir, in this photo?
I was 19.
Yeah. 81-year difference between that photo and this one.
This is my uniform I wore when I was in service.
So this is the 44th.
44th Division.
You have quite a few medals. Which
Yeah.
one is which?
This is Purple Heart with a cluster. That means I was wounded twice. This is the European Theater medals.
Of all these medals, what are you most proud of, sir?
Probably this one.
The Combat Infantry Badge.
Yes.
Absolutely. I always like to say this is what separates the men from the boys, right?
Yes. Yes.
You guys were the ones on the front lines, the bleeding edge. I know the setup takes a long time, but the veterans have taught me that if you're going to do something, you do it to the best of your ability.
Right.
The purpose of today's interview, Mr. Terwillegar, is really the reality of combat. I'm not going to make you talk about anything you don't want to talk about, but the reality is you were a frontline combat rifleman. You had to see some things that no one should ever have to see. You had to do some things that no one should ever have to do. And I know you had some tough experiences. I would strongly encourage you, sir, to try to be as open about those experiences, because the only good thing that will ever come from what you had to do overseas and what you had to see is if someone learns from it. Could you please take us through how you ended up in the military, sir?
Yeah, I had the one year of deferment because it was in agriculture and the country needed food. But at the end of the 1 year, I said that all my neighbors at my age was leaving, and I said I wasn't going to accept another deferment, and I entered the Army.
And what unit was that?
That was 324th Infantry, part of the 44th Division. And I was in L Company.
Could you please tell us about the Battle of the Bulge, the conditions that you guys had to endure?
The 324th relieved part of the 35th Division right up at the Bulge. We took a tremendous amount of shelling at that time, and we were in the foxhole. They would shoot tracers on. They had these 88s that they would fire in, and you could see them leave and be coming. They'd been coming right. Looked like they were coming right for your foxhole. And actually, one of them did come very close to the foxhole that I was in. One of my squad was in the foxhole with me. It was two of us in. He said to me, he says, I can't take any more. I can't take any more. He says, I want you to shoot me. He says, I just don't want to live anymore. And I said, you got two little kids home. They're waiting for you. I said, you're going to make it home. And he did. He did make it home. So that's one of the experiences I'll never forget.
So what is this? This is
the Purple Heart medal. I was wounded April 11th in Germany, and that's what was received for that. A very meaningful medal to me.
this signifies your sacrifice,
Yes.
that you literally shed blood for this country. So, Mr. Terwillegar, I'm looking at your regimental history, and in one section it says, late in the afternoon, Company L advanced through Eichweissen with the mission of clearing the woods to the east. Resistance was scattered, and Company L reported the woods clear at 1830, with 29 German POWs added to the regimental total. Could you please take us through that experience?
Orders came for us to go through and clear the woods. I was squad leader, and I volunteered to be the scout. So we started to go through the woods, and what I've seen is the helmets and just the top part of them. Yeah. And I knew it was Germans. I don't know whether I killed any of them or hit any of them, but because it seemed like it instantly I was hit. Yeah. I was hit right here on this side. Went into my lung, caused the blood to come right out of my mouth. Yeah.
Did you go in and out of consciousness at all?
No, I did not go out of. I knew that I had to help myself, and I thought I needed to get up and get out of there because it was in April, so the leaves were dry, and the artillery and stuff, shells that came in set them leaves on fire, and I said I'd have to move. I knew that there was a little smoke in the air too, that if I could get through that, I would be out of sight anyway. And when I started to move, I had 3 bullets hit my calf of my leg. But I did get up and get toward the edge of the woods, and I fell down, and then the medic was right there. And came up there and he says, "Oh my God, Ray," and I can hear that as plain as today as it was yesterday.
And so you're walking out of the woods, you see a medic. And who was this medic?
Howard Goodman. Yeah, Howard was he was our medic, but he was also a very good friend of mine. He came to our regimental reunion. He got up and he said his name was Howard Goodman. I said, "That's my medic." It was my medic. When the meeting ended, we went right up there, and there was a bunch of tears shed that day.
That was the first time that you had seen him since the war.
Yes. He said, "Ray," he says, "I never thought you made it." First words he told me yeah. This is a picture of my medic here in the middle.
So this is the man who saved your life.
Yes.
Well, what's it like for you looking back at that photo? I think you told me earlier that this is one of your most prized photographs.
It is. That was a very touching time.
How do you handle getting close to some people in the service and to be in a situation when they're killed, often in a brutal way? Your friends, I mean, how do you cope with that?
You just wonder how his family felt when they got that call, or somebody come in and tell them your son or brother has been killed. There's so many that didn't get to come home and see this. It's always bothered me. You see a lot of death, and you're not one of them. But I still have occasional flashbacks of like I'm in the war yet. It's just hard I don't know how you ever forget it. You don't. You can't forget all the stuff that you went through. At least I can. I'm very fortunate to be here today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, sir. Till next time, right?
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Stay safe. Will do.
You know, when you get to spend so much time with a veteran like this, you get totally immersed in their world and you really get to, like them. I don't look up obituaries. It's just too hard. In my head, I just keep a moment like this frozen in time. And I just envision, and all the veterans who I've interviewed, the ones, especially the ones who I've gotten close to, they're all just sitting there in their easy boys, in their chairs, just waiting for me next time to come and visit or to give them a call. Some people really deserve to live forever.
To save money, I pretty much live out of the car full time, meaning, I sleep in it at night. All the money I get donation-wise goes directly just to try to get more of the veterans on camera. And so it's just, one of those things you just get used to. I'm not very proud of it, but you do what you have to do to keep meeting your heroes and documenting their stories. This looks like a nice place. For such a long time, I haven't had any money. And the only way I could keep meeting World War II veterans was to budget myself to the point where it would require me to live in the car full time and eat one meal like every other day. And, that's not very fun, but more money saved equals more World War II veterans on camera. You just want to be in front of your hero and tell them how much you appreciate them and document their stories so that you won't forget, and also so that other people won't forget what this man went through for the world.
Hi, how are you? Great. I'm glad you're well. Thank you, sir. Most of my leads come from people who've seen something on the news about my mission. These men are humble giants, and oftentimes it takes a family member or a neighbor or someone who's friends with the veteran to reach out and tell me about this hero in their community or in their family. Some of the most incredible stories are people who seek the least attention. I just want to meet more World War II veterans. And so this is just one of the ways I have found to get to that goal.
So maybe put Dina in her chair, put me here, and put Rishi here.
Thank you again. Nice
Great
to meet
see
you. Rishi.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you again for the opportunity. The vast majority of veterans who I meet and interview, it's the first time that they're actually able to talk about their experiences, or that someone has shown an interest. So many of them don't share it with their families. And so what's interesting is I have three things in my favor, and good looks is not one of them. But I'm the same age a lot of the veterans were, and they were in action. I've done copious amounts of research before each interview, so I can talk the talk, right? Talk shop. But the most important thing, guys, is that I'm not related to any of these men. And they look at me, it's almost like a censor-free environment, a non-judgment zone, where they can share these experiences of what it was like to be in a position where it was truly kill or be killed without fearing that my perception or their family's perception of them would change.
We've had the phone number on throughout. We invite anybody, World War II combat veteran who would like to tell their story. Rishi wants to hear from you.
Thank you guys for this opportunity. It's just so important that we can capture these stories while they're amongst us.
Absolutely. Thank you. We'll be right back.
I really appreciate you giving me that opportunity.
Incredible what you're doing. Great to meet
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just so elated that they actually put my phone number, because I felt my phone getting a lot of calls during the news segment, and the news producer told me it's the #1 morning program in Detroit. So that's really cool. So I'm sure we're going to get and when they put it on their website, we'll get a lot of people reaching out.
I'm on the way to Ithaca, Michigan to interview C.O. Bauer. He's a World War II veteran who fought with the 95th Infantry Division. He's one of the famous Iron Men of Metz. There was a town of Metz in France. It has a big fortress that the Germans had occupied. It was a big battle, a lot of casualties on both sides, but eventually the Americans took the town. And Mr. Bauer is one of those Americans. And he just had his 100th birthday. He's really nice. When I asked him if I could conduct an interview with him, he said, the more people that I can tell about my buddies who didn't come home, the better.
It is such an honor to meet you.
Come on down.
I just really appreciate
It's cold here, and
the
you're cold.
opportunity.
Good God. Talk about details. He's bad.
No, I'm good.
This wreath up here is the combat infantryman's badge. That's supposed to be up.
Yeah.
You got it up, lifted up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Well, I put it on purpose. I wear it, sends a message.
That you have hair?
Sends a message that I don't have hair. No.
I'm just kidding. And if you don't mind, sir, can you give us a clap?
Hello, my name is C.O. E. Bauer. I'm a World War II veteran and of the 95th Infantry Division. I was a rifleman, private first class in Company I of the 377th Infantry Regiment.
Could you please tell us about the officers of I Company? Who was the captain, the lieutenants?
Oh, or Captain Bolton. We had a marching song, or had a song. We're Captain Bolton's boys, Raiders of the night, we're dirty SOBs, rather make love than fight. I cleaned that up.
What's the original version?
Are you gonna make me say it? Rather fuck than fight. I think that went through the whole army.
Well, I did ask you if you had some kids over in France.
Well, I don't have. I'll testify. We got sent up on the front to replace a unit of the 90th Division. We were in the small city of Mézières-les-Bains. The houses were pretty well ruined up above us, but the basements that were pretty substantial shelters. We patrolled around to gradually get some idea what was out there. I came in off of a patrol one night, and we'd had other patrols out, and this one patrol had been ambushed to the extent that there was 2 men killed. I mean, it was dark, of course, no lights, no nothing. And so when I came down the stairs to lay on my bed, they had laid the one of the men that was killed, and Kelly Clouser was his name. They'd just laid him there on the stretcher. There was another empty place right next to him, so I laid down and I slept till dawn, and it was dawn that I found out that Kelly Clouser was dead, laying there beside me. Right here is my best exhibit. Actually, it shows me walking through the military cemetery up at near the German border. Most of our 95th Division men are buried there.
And when you look at the headstone, and for people like me, it's just a name.
Yeah.
But your generation, I mean,
I see a person. Yeah. And a young person. Yeah. That's Chateaubriand. I never saw it like that. And of course, we blew it down, the artillery, and the owner demolished it. And it's now a park de Brou. When we attacked to seize Chateaubriand, that was ordered as a night attack. to go ahead of the main effort at dawn, and it had the artillery barrage by our artillery on Chateau Brou. You know, when you listen to it, it sounds like 1,000 trains overhead. I remember thinking, I wonder how it is it happened that I'm here, you know, moving out towards almost certain death. Yeah. I remember standing there at the edge of Mézières, and was carrying the bazooka. I wasn't a bazooka man, but they brought a bazooka up, and nobody would carry it but me, because I thought, we're leaving, we're not coming back, and we better take that thing up with us. And Kellogg and Ahern, which are two new fathers, two young fathers, had just been notified that they were fathers and never saw their kids. They carried the bazooka ammunition. I actually said to either Kellogg or Ahern, it's going to be a bad time tonight. So I went on, and I caught up with Sergeant Grease. He was cutting the wire, and he said, go through there. See if you can get through there. So I was the first man through. Kellogg and Ahern struggled through. Well, that's when the German marker flare came out of their positions. There's just like fireworks. It landed, and I realized where it was landing, right by Kellogg, and it blew. And that's when I was hit. But it killed Kellogg and Ahern. So then I'm alone inside the German wire, and I've got to save myself.
Could you please tell me, sir, about that journey when no one was able to come and help you after you were wounded? Your journey back to the first aid station. How did you do that?
After the flare went out, I rolled over and over into a shell hole. There was water at the bottom of it. And I remember sticking my hand underwater and saying, geez, am I bleeding that much? Thought, geez, I guess I might as well see if I can go back. I just kept on crawling and then decided to get up once I got onto the road. Didn't know I had a drop foot. I had a nerve cut by the shell, so I couldn't pick the foot up. You know, I'd trip then and fall, trip and fall. The third of a mile or so back to Mézières that I had to go.
Where all were you wounded?
My wounds were all shrapnel wounds up and down the left side. I had a good one in my arm right here. I had a couple here on the cheekbone. I had a couple right here on my chest. I had some here just on the rib cage, and of course I had the one right here between the tendons on my leg, which was what I refer to was my $1 million wound. What the $1 million wound meant was that you were injured enough that you weren't going to recover and go back to the front line. So worth well more than $1 million. So I like to tell people that I've been a millionaire ever since November 8th, 1944. Yeah.
What life advice do you want to give to future generations?
Certainly life is a precious gift from God. Live your life as though it's precious. It's a gift. It's not about you. It's about your relatives. It's about your nation. It's about humanity. So you'll have a very successful life if you live it that way.
What kind of man do you want people to always remember you as?
Honest, trustworthy, and devoted to my family and to my country. Devoted to helping my fellow human beings. Yeah.
It's interesting to me that, you know, you've already given so much when it comes to your service in the war. Even after the war, though, you've made such a concerted effort to continually give back to the community, to this country.
My duty as a Christian. I am a Christian, and I say short prayers. I'll say one right now. Thank God for Rishi Sharma. Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
Yep.
Thank God for all the World War II veterans and C.O. Bauer.
Right.
And my mom.
Yeah. Right. Two of my friends were killed in action, and so our families got together and actually put in these honor markers. The first one is right here. It's Howard C. Berry. You'll see that he was awarded the Silver Star. The Silver Star is the third highest award which the military gives for valor. He was a friend of mine and about the same age, so a good friend. So this is Roland Hill. He and I went to high school. Roland was the high school clown. Everybody laughed when Roland was around. And so Roland and Howard Berry and I went to war together on the train. When we were waiting for the train, there was quite a lot of tears around. Roland and I kind of looked at each other and we said, we don't want any of that. So pretty soon we had them laughing. You know, that's what we did. I've spent a lot of time and resources in my life to honor Howard and my comrades, whomever, wherever they are. That's what motivates me. In France, I went to the German cemetery because it kind of humbles you. You realize that they were the same as you. Their motivations were the same as yours. They wanted to live just as we wanted to live. And they were deprived of that just the same as we were. And I hope the people that view that understands how I feel. Humanity is not much to be admired when you finally sum it all up. You can hear my voice crackle a little bit when I say that, but that's my feelings. And when we did go to the German cemetery, well, essentially, at least personally me, I forgave them. So that's the way it is. And I'm proud of that. It's enough for me. Yeah.
C.O. Bauer is emblematic of the World War II greatest generation. Here's a man who was seriously wounded, almost died fighting the Germans, still suffers from his injuries today, and yet he has spent every day that he's come home from the war fighting for recognition for those who didn't come home. It really reinforces the fact that we have to capture these testimonies now. It's now or never. There's so many untold stories out there. Hearing their firsthand accounts of the war and documenting it, that's how we can truly understand the sacrifices made by that generation, with the hope that all those young men, people like Roland Hill and Howard Berry, that they didn't die in vain, but for a purpose and for a future.
At the tone, please record your message.
I saw you this morning on the 9, and I know a World War II vet.
My dad was in World War II.
My own dad was World War II Marines, 100-year-old World War II veteran.
He was 98 years old,
I have an uncle that just turned 98, a World War II veteran.
We do have a neighbor here, a 97-year-old neighbor here who did serve in the war. Actually, he's a Purple Heart recipient. If you could please call me.
Hi, Debbie. I hope you're doing well. This is Rishi Sharma.